In 10 years, the city won't collapse, but it will feel optional. Rents spike, commutes rot your brain, and suddenly, convenience costs your sanity. That's the world as it is. Here's the problem. Nobody tells you some mountain towns already solved this. Quietly, cheaply, and without asking permission. No hype, no billionaires, just systems that work. Until you notice cities don't do anything better. So we're going to 5 US mountain towns most lists ignore. Ranked, data-backed, weirdly self-sufficient. One of them has darkness written into law. Another runs on skills cities forgot existed. Which would you actually survive in? Stick around. Wait till you see New Mexico. Like the video if cities have ever made you tired. Subscribe, because knowing where to land might be a survival skill. Let's break it down. Number 5. Wallace, Idaho. Wallace looks like a museum town that forgot to close. Victorian brick buildings, one main street, mountains pressing in like they're listening. Population? Roughly 800 people. Lifestyle expectation? Sleepy, nostalgic. Maybe barely hanging on. That's the brochure version. Here's where it gets interesting. Cost of living? About 15 to 20% below the national average. Groceries are normal. Housing isn't cosplay level insane. Median home price hovers around $280,000 to $320,000, depending on how allergic the house is to updates. Rent, usually $900 to $1,200 if you can find it, which is the catch. Crime. Violent crime is rare. Property crime exists, but it's mostly someone didn't lock their truck. Jobs. Small, but real. Mining support, healthcare in nearby Kellogg, remote workers quietly minding their business. And the weird flex? The entire downtown is on the National Register of Historic Places. Every building. Which means the town can't sprawl, even if it wanted to. Sarcastic stat reaction. So yeah, Wallace is cheaper, safer, and more stable than most cities, but you can't knock down a wall without asking the ghost of 1898. Here's the trade. Wallace survives because it refuses to reinvent itself every 5 minutes. That's comforting and occasionally annoying. You will hear about the mining days a lot. Every bar, every tour, every guy named Rick who almost left once. It's charming until you realize nostalgia is the town's second largest export. First is resilience. Still, if you hate history lessons delivered unsolicited with a beer, pace yourself. Picture this: morning snow, quiet street. Coffee tastes better because nobody's rushing you. You hear a train in the distance. Not traffic. Your phone works. Your brain slows down. You don't miss the city. That's the unsettling part. Wallace locks up at night out of habit. Meanwhile, some big cities need apps just to track what block to avoid. And if you think Wallace is old school tough, wait until the next town. Same mountains, completely different kind of survival. Number 4. Westcliffe, Colorado. Westcliffe looks like a town that accidentally wandered into the mountains and stayed. Population? About 600. One main road. Big sky. Bigger silence. Reputation? Artsy. Remote. Maybe a little off-grid curious. You assume it's cute but fragile. A place you visit, not live. That assumption won't survive long. Here's what's actually going on. Elevation, nearly 7,900 feet, higher than most people's patience. Cost of living, roughly 10 to 15% below the Colorado average, which is wild considering Colorado. Median home price, around $350,000 to $400,000. Not cheap, but not front-range delusional. Crime. Violent crime is extremely low. Property crime exists, mostly opportunity-based. Internet. Yes, real broadband. Remote workers didn't hallucinate this place into existence. And the headline stat? Westcliffe is an international dark sky community. They literally regulate light on purpose. So yeah, this town banned excess lighting before it banned bad attitudes. Priorities. Living here means trading stimulation for clarity. No nightlife. No Target runs. No pretending convenience equals happiness. The wind. Nobody warns you about the wind. It doesn't ask. It doesn't stop. It just shows up like it owns the place, which it does. You'll secure patio furniture like it owes you money. But weirdly, after a while, you stop fighting it. That's the theme here. Picture this: cold air, wide valley, mountains sharp enough to look fake. At night, the sky actually shows up. Stars stacked on stars. You check rent. It's manageable. You check crime. It's quiet. You exhale. The math works. Westcliffe didn't reject modern life. It edited it, kept the tools, deleted the noise. Cities call that deprivation. Out here, it feels like control. And if Westcliffe proves you can engineer darkness into policy, the next town figured out how to survive when everything else shuts down. Number 3. Ely, Nevada. Ely feels like a town time forgot. On purpose. Old mining bones, railroad grit, high desert cold that doesn't care about your layers. Population, roughly 4,000. Expectation, remote, fading. Maybe one bad winter away from a documentary. That's the surface read. It's wrong. Here's what Ely actually looks like under the hood. Elevation, about 6,400 feet, which explains the winters and the attitude. Cost of living, roughly 10 to 15% below the national average. Median home price, around $220,000 to $260,000. Nevada, without the sticker shock. Rent, commonly $800 to $1,100. And yes, units actually exist. Crime, violent crime stays below the national average. Property crime is the usual rural mix of boredom and unlocked doors. Jobs, mining, rail operations, healthcare, government work, and a quiet layer of remote workers who like space and silence. And then there's the flex nobody expects. Ely still operates a historic steam railroad as real infrastructure and tourism. Not nostalgia, maintenance, skill, continuity, sarcastic reaction. So while cities are rebooting streetcars for vibes, Ely's over here like, we never stopped. Living in Ely means accepting distance. Everything costs a little more effort, but nothing feels disposable. Let's talk weather. Winter shows up early, leaves late, and doesn't apologize. Snow here isn't cozy, it's contractual. You shovel because it's Tuesday. You don't complain because nobody's listening anyway. But weird thing? After a while, you stop romanticizing comfort and start trusting yourself more. That sneaks up on you. Ely doesn't optimize for convenience. It optimizes for function. People know how systems work because they've watched them fail and rebuilt them anyway. Cities teach efficiency. Ely teaches resilience. That sticks. And if Ely feels like survival with a backbone, the next town somehow turned balance into an art form without announcing it. Number 2. Paonia, Colorado. Paonia looks like a farm town that discovered yoga and never shut up about it. Orchards, vineyards, murals. People who say community and mean it. Population, about 1,500. Expectation, crunchy, artsy, possibly held together by potlucks and optimism. Fair, but incomplete. Here's what actually holds Paonia up. Cost of living, slightly below the Colorado average. Rare sentence, enjoy it. Median home price, roughly $380,000 to $420,000. Not cheap, but still human. Rent, around $1,100 to $1,400. Limited supply, high commitment. Jobs, agriculture, renewable energy, education, healthcare, and remote workers who figured out the math early. Economic plot twist. This valley ran on coal for decades. Now it's one of the highest per capita concentrations of organic farms in the state. That's not a rebrand. That's a hard pivot. Paonia didn't transition. It metabolized its past and kept going. Cities could never. Paonia forces overlap. Farmers talk policy. Artists understand logistics. Everyone knows where the water comes from and what happens if it doesn't. Let's talk about opinions. Everyone has one. About food, about land, about how things used to be done. Town meetings here are like TED Talks with feelings. It's exhausting, but also you're never bored, and nobody's pretending the work is someone else's problem. That hits different. Quick pause. Yes, there's wine. Yes, there's poetry, but there's also tractors, spreadsheets, and people who wake up early on purpose. Surprisingly productive combo. And no, they didn't ban light like Westcliffe, but they will side-eye you for wasting it. Paonia isn't escaping anything. It's integrating everything. Work, culture, risk, responsibility. That balance cities keep promising? This place built it by necessity. And if Paonia proves balance is possible, the next town makes a stronger claim. You might not need a city at all. Number 1. Silver City, New Mexico. Silver City sounds like a place you pass through. Old mining name, Southwest heat. Maybe a little dusty, a little forgotten. Population, about 10,000. Expectation, artsy outpost, retiree town. Nice, but limited. That's the surface story. It's incomplete. Here's why Silver City ends up at number 1. Cost of living, roughly 10 to 12% below the national average. Median home price, around $250,000 to $300,000. Still real, still reachable. Rent, commonly $900 to $1,200, with options that don't vanish overnight. Crime, property crime exists, but violent crime stays below national averages. Infrastructure flex, a real hospital, a university, strong broadband, and proximity to the Gila Wilderness, one of the largest wilderness areas in the US. Cities call that amenities. Silver City just calls it normal. So yeah, Healthcare, education, nature, and rent you can pay. Apparently that's exotic now. Silver City removes excuses. You can't blame traffic, or crowds, or the system. Life slows just enough to expose what you actually want. Let's address the sun. It's bright, it's honest, it doesn't do moody overcast. You will squint. You will own hats you didn't plan on owning. But seasonal depression? Not invited. This place hands you vitamin D and says, figure it out. Picture this. Warm morning. Quiet street, coffee downtown, not rushed, mountains in the distance, real errands that take 10 minutes. Your rent clears, your signal works, you don't feel trapped or anonymous. Statistically, this is one of the few places where that balance actually holds. One local put it perfectly. I came for a year. That was 8 years ago. The city just stopped making sense. Yeah, that tracks. Silver City doesn't scream opportunity. It functions. And once you experience that, cities feel loud, expensive, and weirdly fragile. Like the video if a town with hospitals and mountains shouldn't feel revolutionary. Subscribe, because knowing where life actually works might be the smartest accidental decision you make.